Bon dia. Just more and more miles of eucalyptus. Wow, when these things are small and and shimmery, they can be quite beautiful when the sun hits them. But you can see it just goes on forever. I just find this amazing. Even these ferns, every time I see this kind of fern around the world, it reminds me a little of Jurassic Park.
Some of you are wanting to know what the glamorous life of an albergue is inside. This is kind of it. It's just me and Britt in this one room tonight, so that's kind of a great way to spread out a little bit. Nothing fancy, but enough to get the job done to rest. So day 14 has passed, and I am in the village of Albergaria, Velha. And it was touted to be a short distance, but these things are all relative, right? Depending upon sun and body cooperation. But the fun thing, actually, one of the most fun things is to decide what my pick of the day will be and to post that on Facebook. And today, just happened that as we were walking through a little village, a woman pushing a wheelbarrow full of hay and greens and other food substances stopped me, motioned me to help feed her sheep. And so those are the types of unexpected, unplanned things that happen on the Camino. And it was quite fun. There was a beautiful connection. And she just beamed. And after that happened, after we helped her feed her sheep, I thought, well, there's my pick of the day. And I kept walking and went through all of the eucalyptus forest that you saw. And then once I got here, I had to look up the phrase feed my sheep because it seemed from my old Christianity background that that was something that was said often. And sure enough, that's what the master teacher Jesus would say to his disciples when they would ask him for advice. What do you want us to do? How do you want us to talk about you? How do you want us to exemplify your teachings? And oftentimes he would say, feed my sheep. And so when we think about that metaphorically, we understand that it's about feeding people an energy of love, an energy of validation, an energy of being seen, heard, and valued, an energy of connection, of taking the time to actually connect to people. And one of the great things about the Camino is that the culture, particularly now where we are on the route, the culture is for people to shout at us and say, Buen Camino, and to wish us well on our way to Santiago. It's just part of the culture. The arrows and signs are everywhere now. We are, as tomorrow is day 15, and there's about 2 more days left to Porto. That is the most popular place to start the Camino, is in Porto, which is a large city like Lisbon. And if you start in Porto, you have about 2 weeks before you arrive in Santiago, and you are eligible to get your Pilgrim's Compostela from the cathedral in Santiago. So we're doing the whole route. And so people are accustomed to seeing people like us walk through their town, and they greet us and they acknowledge us and they send us love. And so that's an example of feeding one's sheep. And it doesn't take a lot to feed the sheep, to take that allegory and to go, how can I deliver nourishment to those that I see and am involved in? And in fact, my little amulet here is of Maharaji, who often would tell people to love people, to serve people, to feed people, and to remember that the only reality is God. Love, serve, and remember. It's a pretty simple way to live, and it's a very rich way to live when we can let the trappings of all of the other stuff that want to seduce us into thinking we have to manage something or worry about something or that we're not good enough. All of the old, stale, stagnant, false ideology that infiltrates in our human experience. To just love, serve, remember, to feed my sheep. And I hope that there is a small fragment of these experiences, if you've been watching and following, where you're being fed, that something is instilling within you either a sense of adventure, a an idea, a fresh idea, the healthy challenge of starting some new goal, or reconsidering a possibility for yourself. I hope that that is one way that perhaps you're being fed from these messages. And I would like to give a shout out to now these list of people who have been helping through their donations for Kaleidoscope Child Foundation. By the way, we reached 20% of the goal today. So the evening of the 14th, we reached 20%. Still have a long way to go, but I'm grateful. And I want to thank Noreen Kelty, Paula Atlansky, Vincent Topaldo, Joseph Riley, Karen Drucker, and Margaret Shabalan. I think I'm saying that right. Margaret Shabalan. To each of you, to Noreen, Paula, Vincent, Joseph, Karen, and Margaret, my humble bows of thanks and gratitude for helping me get to this 20% marker. Much love. Buen camino. And off to bed soon. It's a long, long day tomorrow. Thank you.